Okay, so for the next few minutes, let's talk about something huge, what could actually replace the US dollar in global trade. And no, the answer isn't another country's currency, and it's not just buy gold. We're going to dive into something, well, completely different. You know, for the past 50 years, there's been this system kind of operating in the shadows, quietly running the entire global economy. It's shaped everything from geopolitics to finance in ways most of us just don't see. And it all hinges on one single, absolutely critical commodity. And here it is. It's called the Petrodollar system. The deal was actually pretty simple, but totally brilliant. It basically says, if you want to buy oil anywhere on the international market, you've got to pay for it in US dollars. And just like that, you've created this constant, massive global demand for the dollar. That's what really locked it in as the world's go-to reserve currency. But here's the thing. That foundation is starting to show some serious cracks. All over the world, countries are actively looking for off-ramps, for ways to get out from under this reliance on a single currency. So really, the big question isn't if this system is going to change, it's what's going to replace it. And that's where we get to this really fascinating, kind of provocative idea. It's a proposal that just completely sidesteps all the usual suspects, you know? We're not talking about the euro, or the yuan, or even something like Bitcoin.
So, what if the successor isn't another currency at all? What if it's not backed by the promise of just one government, but instead it's backed by the actual physical stuff that makes our world run? That's the huge idea we're going to dig into right now.
And this is a really great way to think about it. It's not just another digital coin floating around. Imagine a token that acts like a share in a giant diversified fund of the world's most critical raw materials. It gives you a direct, provable claim on real, tangible value.
So, okay, what are we actually putting in this basket? Well, it would have to be a pretty strategic mix, right? You'd have crude oil, of course. That's the bedrock of modern energy. But then you'd also have things like rare earth minerals, the stuff that's essential for all our tech. You'd probably want to throw in agricultural staples, the things that literally feed the world. And hey, to make it future-proof, why not add in something like renewable energy credits? It's basically a token that represents a slice of the global economy's most fundamental parts.
Right, so how on earth could a system like this even work? I mean, with our traditional financial system, it would be a nightmare, probably impossible. You need a completely new kind of technological backbone to pull it off. And, well, that's where blockchain comes into the picture. It brings three really game-changing things to the table. First up, you get transparency. Everyone could see and verify the actual physical assets backing the token on a public ledger. No more guessing. Second, it's decentralized. This is huge. It means no single country could control it or, frankly, weaponize it. It would be a totally neutral platform for global trade. And finally, you get stability. Because you're bundling all these different commodities together, you create this natural hedge. If oil prices go crazy, it's balanced out by everything else in the basket. So when you put them side by side, you really see what a fundamental shift this is. The petrodollar? It's backed by the full faith and credit of one government. This tokenized basket? It's backed by real physical assets. The dollar is centralized, controlled by one country. The basket? Totally decentralized. The dollar's value is tied to the ups and downs of one nation's economy, while the basket's value is spread across the entire global economy. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds amazing, maybe a little too good to be true. And yeah, we have to be realistic here. The real-world challenges, the hurdles you'd have to jump to make this happen, they are just enormous.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around the sheer scale of it. How do you even tokenize a physical barrel of oil? Where do you store all this stuff? You'd need a global network of super secure, constantly audited warehouses. You'd have to make sure the on-chain record of who owns what is absolutely flawless. And then, you have the biggest problem of all, politics. You would need a level of international cooperation we've probably never seen before just to get everyone to agree to this.
But even with all those massive challenges, it's still worth taking a step back and looking at the grand vision. Because this isn't really just about swapping out one currency for another. This is about building a whole new set of rails, a new infrastructure for how value itself moves across the planet. And that's really the moonshot here. If you think about it, the first wave of crypto was all about making money digital. This next evolution, this could be about creating a direct digital twin of the actual physical stuff that our entire civilization is built on. Imagine how much more efficient and transparent global trade could be.
Look, at the end of the day, the world needs a way to settle trades that isn't tied to the political whims or the economic health of just one country. An idea like this, as ambitious as it is really an attempt to build a system that's just fundamentally more balanced, more open, and a lot more resilient for everybody involved.
So that leaves us with the big question, right? Is this a genuine glimpse into the future of money, the next logical step in how we think about value? Or is it just a really cool thought experiment, a logistical fantasy that's way too complicated to ever actually work in the real world? I guess that's the multi-trillion-dollar question the world has to figure out.